Okay, welcome everyone to tonight's Leap of Faith on the Rise team call. We have Nicole Barker's team joining us tonight. Arrow's out, and I am so excited that our guest speaker for tonight's call is Diamond Melissa Darby. And Mel and I were talking today, and we have to share this story with you guys how we met. So I started this 3 years ago. And when I started, my upline is Allison Ricky. And I was one that helped Allison go silver. So she didn't have a team page. And I think Emily, Tiffany, and Stacy, the three above Allison, they had maybe just started a team page. But when I started, like Mel's team page was my team page, basically. That's where I started. So I became much of a stalker of her team page and everything, and really just connected with Melissa on she is a leader in this team. I duplicated a lot of what I saw, and we got to meet for the very first time in October of that year at Leaders Retreat. Mm-hmm. And I do remember Melissa was extremely sick at the beginning part of that trip, so I got to meet her and say hi, but I didn't get to talk to her until the Halloween party when Chris and I showed up, and we were Incredibles, and so was Melissa and her mother-in-law. And so we bonded over our fantastic, skin-tight, one-piece incredible costumes. And that's when I knew that Melissa and I, we just had a bond from the start because we had so much fun that night. But that's just how we actually met, and we just love that part, so we had to share it with you guys. But I do want to tell you Melissa's brief story because she's going to kind of just jump on in after this. So I have love this because I've heard a story a million times, but I forgot how many key incredible parts to her story there are. So Melissa joined April 25th, coming up on 5 years she's been with Plexus. With her mother in love is how she calls her. If you didn't know Melissa yet, you will, because she always refers to her mother-in-law as her mother-in-love, Debbie. Okay, they have been in an MLM before. She called it Mel Loses Money and didn't want to do anything with this business. Her husband is a type 1 diabetic. He was diagnosed when he was 8 years old. Lifespan is 20 years or less for a typical person, which is crazy. His diabetic health was not good, and that's when Melissa started doing her homework, researching these products, and realized that these products were the real deal. They were so much more than weight loss. She started with the Fab Four, taught him and their family all about gut health. And she says, so cool to see how our company is embracing our beliefs in gut health. Long story short, products were a game changer. Nathan lost 40 pounds, got off blood pressure medicine, lost inches around his waist, which we all know is the dangerous fat zone. And most of all, he reduced his insulin by 40%. People could see that they felt different, and Nathan started sending people her way. That's when she found her passion. What's really cool, many of you guys can relate to this, she worked part-time to Emerald. Once she hit Emerald is when she quit her corporate job, and she hit Diamond in 13 months. Nathan spent 2 years at home, retired, being with the family, and her 67-year-old mother-in-law is an Emerald, okay? You want to know how cool this is for Melissa? 5 years in the business. You guys listen to these stats, okay? She's personally sponsored a diamond, a sapphire, and an emerald. She has a total of 45 to 50 jewels on her team, and she has 18 diamonds. So we are so lucky to have Melissa with us tonight. I'm going to pass it over to you to say a few things, and then we can do some questions.
Okay, thank you. That was such a wonderful intro. The first thing I want to say is that sounds like an incredibly huge number of jewels and diamonds, and that's because it is. But let me tell y'all that I personally sponsored three. Okay? So I'm not one that has the 7 levels of jewels. Okay? 1, 2, 3. My mama in love, a long-term friend, and one of my best friends from college. Those are my 3. Okay, now I've got other senior rubies and multiple other legs, but I always think it's really encouraging to tell people that I personally sponsored 3. Like, the power of 3 works. So if you can get 3 of the right people on board that will do life with you, that will believe in what you do, that will be crazy enough to duplicate what you do, it really only takes a handful of the right people. I have loads of people on the team, but it's really funny because in these huge masses of numbers, it's really about 10% of the team that's really, really doing the work. So the fact that you guys are on this call tonight tells me that you are not one of the many, that you're one of the few. You're one of the few that have said, I believe in this, and I want to make this bigger than me. I want to make this something that can absolutely impact my legacy, be a life changer. And I would just love to just answer any kind of questions. I love keeping it conversational. I think it's real easy to tune out when you have one person the whole time. So please, like, unmute, bring some questions to the table. If I stumble through it, it's because I'm not prepared and I'm coming from the heart, okay? I don't write scripts for these calls, especially when it's team Q&A, because I want you guys to get the real response that comes from me first, not the, okay, what should I say as a Jewel? No, I'm going to tell you what I would say. And so I think it's important to know that you're going to get the real stuff from me. I think it's so important that we're transparent. What, babe?
I said that's what I love about you. You always bring it.
I think we've evolved as a group. I mean, where we were 5 years ago is not where we are today. So it's important that we grow as our company grows. And I want each and every one of you to feel empowered tonight. And I want y'all to leave feeling like you got some questions answered, you got some fuel in your tank, and you feel ready to keep going, but doing it even with a bigger belief in yourself. Not in a bigger belief in me, a bigger belief in what you're doing. To be reminded, okay, why did I decide to do this again? If you're not having fun, we got to talk about that, because we got to bring it all the way back to, why are you doing this, and are you having fun? And you know what? There's been a lot of times that I have not had fun, a lot. And so that's when I have to take a step back and say, okay, how do I get back to the why of this, which is to help change others' lives, to help empower people, and to have fun doing it. I have called this the sorority that pays like that gives you gangster money without the jail time. Okay, so it should be fun, and not every moment of working is going to feel like like a sorority fun house. So I want to be realistic in that too, but to be able to have fun like that and get paid the way we get paid, there's going to be work involved. It's called network marketing for a reason. It's not network sit back and do nothing and expect to go emerald. So, I love it when people talk about these little companies or this little business you have on the side. We have a freaking empire that we are building together. And we started off just with 2 people. And so don't let anyone belittle the opportunity and the power that you have, because you absolutely are impacting people so much bigger than you can even realize. And you can make this as big as you want to. But the first thing you've got to do is you have to actually believe that you can do it. I believe in all of y'all. I believe in my team. The hardest thing for me to get past wasn't the fear of what other people thought. It was how I thought about me, what I believed about myself. And I'm an optimistic person, so I thought my mindset was great. The way I spoke to myself, I had such low self-esteem in the way that I believed in myself, or the lack of belief. So I think it's easy to have faith in others because you can believe in them. But when you turn the mirror around and say, do you fully believe that you can be whatever it is you want to be? And if that's a gold ambassador, whatever it is, you have to be able to believe that you can really be that. And if you're going, yeah, right, I can't, then you're not going to make it. You've got to get to a place where you love yourself enough that you can believe that you can be whatever you want to be in this business. And when I finally went, you know what? I can be this, I can do this, and I'm not scared anymore. Things changed for my team because they saw me being fearless. And it wasn't about anybody else, but it was really, and at the time I didn't understand because we didn't have mindset. We didn't have coaches. We didn't have a back office. I mean, we didn't have Jack when I started. So, mindset was like, we were just trying to talk to people and get them signed up on a computer. So we've come such a long way in terms of tools and success stories. So I love that. Yeah. So I'd love to just open it up to any questions that you guys might have. Tracy, is that, is that?
We had a few that said, yep, I need to do some muting, sorry. We have a few that already have like a pre-thought out question, so they know to go ahead and ask.
Okay.
If you guys, if you don't care, I'm going to just call you out. That way it'll make it easier and you're not like, I'll go. So Carrie Wood, would you go first with your question?
Sure. Thank you, Melissa, for being on this call. I was super excited. You've been a great inspiration for me since I started as well. So, so my question for you, because I struggle with this, I've been doing it for 2 years, and I still to this day sometimes struggle with like organizational type of tools. Sometimes I'll say, oh, I'm going to kind of go on down this route, and then it just doesn't work. Is there like a staple that's helped you? I mean, do you do the old school paper, pencil, keep track? I mean, I think just trying to keep track of everybody, new customers, new ambassadors, just, I don't know, any tips on what has worked well for you?
That's such a great question because, you try to evolve and find what works for you. And I have tried so many different things. I mean, I've got a binder of customers and ambassadors. That was your one. Okay. Tabbed by, which was so cool. I mean, you could just pull it up, you'd have the password and all that. But when your business grows to a point, you can't really take it with you, all of that. So I still refer to that sometimes because it really helps me if I can just look it up alphabetically. But that wasn't realistic when things started changing, which was an awesome problem to have. So quite honestly, I do a lot of things technically. I do a lot of technical things to help stay organized. I love just having a spiral notebook. I'm a note writer. If I let myself, I would have Post-it notes absolutely everywhere, all over my house, and just cross it off. I like to feel like I can cross it off, and I'll just have piles of these to-do lists. This is not a fancy recommendation by any means, but a good old spiral notebook will keep your thoughts in one place. And I just do one day at a time. So even if it's something as silly as shower before 9 a.m., which was supposed to happen today, and it didn't again. Or from the day before. So I am stanky. You try to stay organized and you try to follow the list. Organization is not my strongest ability for sure. But I used to be a lot more organized, and I realized that the pace of life changed, and I had to be able to move with that pace and kind of get over it and say, you know what, I'm not going to be perfectly organized right now. It's okay. But what I do is I keep all of my contacts now. When anyone signs up, especially as for level ones, I keep them all in my phone as a contact. I've got their ID. I have level 1. It says Plexus. So there's different ways that you can use the search feature on your phones. And I love that because if I have their password, then I'll include that there, but I'll kind of decrypt it. So, if somebody steals my phone, they can't get into it. And then I do have a paper backup of names and passwords, because oftentimes there will be those people that really don't think they're going to do anything, and then 6 months later come back and say, what was my password and my username? So it's important to just have I mean, that's just a general customer service thing. I like to make sure that I have everybody's ID numbers. Beyond that, and a calendar that you can share with your team. Google Calendar is wonderful. For coaching calls, there is a Genius sign up that you can actually create that'll show the calendar for the month, and you can submit certain times of the month that are available. So if it's at night and you can say Team Zoom or coaching calls during the day, that's a great way to open that up to different levels on your team or to your whole team and set up coaching calls. And it's a flexible tool so that people can cancel, they can move it, you can cancel it. So when I do coaching calls, that's a great way to keep them at 20 minutes and also to give them the flexibility to find what works for them. And then I know, okay, they want a Zoom call tonight, so I need to look decent, or this is just a one-on-one, we're just going to catch up. Is that kind of what you were looking for?
Yeah, no, thank you. Just curious kind of on how a diamond runs their organization.
I have a few people I could definitely give you names to ask that are really organized and super on top of it, because that is not me. So I can definitely tell you people that do it a lot better.
Well, and I just add too, like this, you guys, I've had for 3 years. This is my name book, and that is the only thing that's in it. This is what I call as my Plexus Bible, and it goes with me everywhere. And I'm like, I've only got a quarter of it left, so it's well used, but all it is names. And I love it because it's just my spot. And I'll get sticky notes. Like, I'm a sticky note girl too. And these are some people I still have to follow up in March, and it goes on the top of it. And or not March, but before the end of February, and it goes on there, So obviously similar, sticky notes. I'm a spiral notebook kind of girl too. I have a stack of notebooks over here that when someone asks me to do a training call, I'm like, okay, let me go back and look at some of my highlighted things or things that I learned and wrote down and kind of piece it all together too. So, I mean, it's nothing fancy either, but it works. Awesome. Next question. Nicole Constein.
Hi, Melissa.
Hi. And I don't have these pulled up in front of me. I kept trying to pull them up, and so I finally was like, it's okay. I'm just going to see them blind. So I'm sorry if I'm not as on top of these answers as I should be. Hi. How are you?
Good. Thanks. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Good to see you.
So when you approach people, do you approach with the business, or do you approach with the products, or does it just depend on the situation? And then part two, with those 3 people that you were talking about, were they self-starters, or were they someone that, you had to present the business to and work with them? And, I just, I struggle with the, getting people, I don't know, I'm just afraid to hey, let's make money together, I have no problem approaching people with the products, not at all. Mm-hmm. But, just as many people need this business as they do the products. Maybe even more people need this business. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why I struggle with that so much. And I just heard Kristen Abart mention how that's almost selfish that I feel like that, because, why do I care? I shouldn't care what people think about me. I need to turn the mirror around and tell them, look at it as, look what you can do with this, but I don't know why I struggle with that so much. So I was just curious.
That's a great question, and kind of twofold. So, okay, let's start. What was question number 1? Sorry, I'm taking my coat off.
Do you approach with the business or product, or does it just depend on the situation?
So it definitely depends on the situation and the person. I always want to give people the opportunity to understand what the business is. But there are those people that are just meant to be customers, and that's okay. But after 60 days, I absolutely 100% talk to customers about getting their products paid for and going silver. Because that's real money, and that's doable. That's those 3 people that, but I will tell you that my approach, like everything else that I'm going to talk about tonight, has evolved as my business has evolved, as our company has evolved. So I only talked about the products when I started, because Celeste and Jen were Ruby ambassadors. Okay, I think Sheila Medina and Sonia Dudley were the only two diamonds in our company, and we weren't all connected. So that's why I worked my job because I didn't have belief in this company, if that makes sense. I didn't know what it was going to turn into. Isn't that cool? Wow, was I surprised? But so I had the belief in the products. I didn't have the belief in the company. What I love about where we are now is that you can start day one running with the business, empowering people from the start. And I will say, it's been funny because I've been fortunate to have some attraction marketing, which is when people come to you and say, hey, I've been watching, I've seen your story. So there have been people that have said, I want to do the business. The majority of people start safe with product. It's safe for you to start with. It's safe for them. But I will say now, I have more people going straight for the business than I ever have. So the one thing I would say is you want to make sure that you start with building belief with the products, because when they know that the products work, the business part will come, the belief will be there. That's when the documentaries come into play. And I just posted, we're going to do an event March 7th. 18 diamonds are going to share 18 stories. So it's going to kind of be like a mini diamond night of storytelling. That is where belief is built with people in the business and with their products. To me, there's nothing more powerful than hearing or seeing a testimony. Somebody that somebody. So I used to only start with the product. I still start with the product, but I absolutely pair it up with the business now. And you're right, Nicole, one of the things, and the reason that you struggle with holding back is because, like all of us, we're human, and the opinions of others can matter and do matter. I've learned to really not care about that anymore, because their opinion of me or their opinion of Plexus is not paying our bills. It never has, and it never will. And honestly, the people that I have talked to, even people that really were kind of dream stealers in the beginning, have come back and said, I really wish I'd done it. I'm sorry. I know I was really negative, and I really, really wish I had done it. So the people that are watching are so much more than what you see and what you realize. So just remember that people are watching you. I've had people say, I've watched you for 4 years and I'm just now coming to you for the first time. I'm like, what? Somebody from middle school. So you never know who's coming around the corner. Feel them out. See how you connect with them. And if you can build some good trust and build, I think, a strong relationship from the beginning, I would absolutely go with the business. If you can tell that it's going to be extremely challenging for the person to build a business, start with the products and get a great success story there, and then help them get their products paid for and get them to silver. You can start fast, fast start gold, or either way, you're going to eventually get to the business, but it just depends on who you're talking to and what their goals are too.
That's so good. Yeah, I think we've been talking a lot about this in 2018 as a team, because we're a lot of yellows, or at least I lead a very yellow team because I'm very yellow. I've always led with the products. Really, it took me like 2 months before Emerald before I was like, do this business with me. When I finally was like really sharing about the business and we talk a lot about that, like on our team. You know, we all kind of struggle a little bit with the leading with the business. And, you know, I think it's something that the more you talk about, just like she said, the more you get comfortable. And it's right. That one person's opinion, that's not paying your bills. Plexus pays your bills. And we know those paychecks are very nice. So we'll keep sharing. Awesome. Thanks, Nicole, for your question. Next is Keely.
Hi, Melissa. Thank you so much for pouring into us. Like, appreciate the time that you've taken tonight to just pour into us and make us believe in our.
My favorite. I love this. I love that. I wish I could do this all the time. This is my favorite part. This is fun to me. So
this is like every week. This stuff motivates me. All right. My question for you is, in the months like way back when you were. I mean, I know that you went really fast, but for the people who don't go really fast, and so like right now I'm senior or gold, going senior gold, and I'm not in that opportunity where I can really like pour out money to help people align numbers for me so that I can rank up. But do you advise, like in the beginning of that month where that's your goal is to rank up, do you send out a message to those wholesalers, like just telling them like, I'm so excited, I'm ranking up this month, or I'm planning to rank up? Or do you wait until the end of the month and say like, hey, I really would love for you to try another product and try and get their 5 points then?
Okay, great question. And it's so important to have some serious strategy in how you handle things. And there have been people that don't duplicate the same way, and it's made a major impact long-term. So, you know, different people do different things, but I think there's a reason that we tell people to start with welcome packs. There's you know, and one thing that I just want to throw in too is please do not water down the opportunity. Okay. Like if you start with $34.95, you're not going to get to a $199 welcome pack with a $34.95 sign up and 100 PV. If you start with, you can own your own business, get the full range of products that you can use and have samples to hand out, and start earning commissions from day one for $300. Then you can, you can always, take it back a little. But that's one thing. I'm like, don't water down the opportunity, because if people are serious about this, and not everyone can do that, of course, but it's just amazing to me how people respond. They're going to do what you tell them to do. Now, obviously, there's different needs for different families and all of that, but it has been a huge difference in my business when I already talk to them as if they are on my team, okay? And I don't ever talk to them about me ranking up. I've seen people do that. I've had level ones do that. And because like you said, the time, it's different times. I think for the people that you're really close with, absolutely. You want your team to know that. When I was going diamond, I feel like everybody just rallied around and did everything they could. It was the coolest experience ever. But other people kind of shared that message. If you're going to approach your team, make it about them. Make it about their health. Make it about their goals. Make it about their income. And the people that you know close that you can be totally safe with. And I think it's absolutely okay to share that you're going for a rank up in general. But when you're approaching somebody to reach in and give more, make it about them.
Absolutely. I mean, Keely, you got to see it firsthand last year, like we started as a team in April to go Emerald in July. Like every single person had their hand in that basket. And because we started in April, we worked on those relationships with people that in July we could reach out to the wholesalers and they were like, yeah, I'll do it this month. Like they knew what was coming. So I think, you've got a lot of great relationships. Many of you guys do with your wholesalers. I feel that's what we're really strong. That's a strong suit for this team. And you have those relationships, just maintain them monthly, encourage them when you can. And I have it on my board here. And one of the things Logan, coach from corporate, says, he's like, if you've got some of those that fall short sometimes, ask them to order every other month, and say, hey, will you be over 100 PV every other month? And in that, there's some strategy with that too for the month that you want to go, rank, so again, it's all in the strategy. It's the planning it out. And I love what Melissa said. Don't water it down. I think that's so great. I remember my upline telling me that too. When it was even just with customers, start with the Fab Four. You can always go backwards,
Yes.
Don't think that, oh my gosh, the triplex is really expensive. You guys, they need the X Factor too, and some people are like, okay, I want this health system. And the X Factor can be so helpful when people are going through detox, so there's just some things that, like Mel said, if you say do this, some people are going to be like, okay. So don't be
you can always bust back a couple of products, but if you start with the BioCleanse and that's it, you don't have anywhere to go with that. And they work in combination with each other. And it makes sense from a business standpoint. One thing that you said, so do you guys have a pretty big team of wholesale ambassadors? It sounds like, okay. So I'm going to share some numbers. So last year in 2017, in my levels 1 through 7, we brought on as a team 5,850 new ambassadors. Okay. That's what? Nuts. I brought on like 27 personally. Here's the crazy part though. Only 288 of almost 6,000 people, only 288 went silver. That's crazy. That is like 5%. We definitely want to be in that. Think about it. If you went from 5% to 10%, what that would do. I don't do wholesalers as much, but I also know that sometimes that's the way that is the best way to go with business. My challenge for you is, and with a little bit of inside knowledge, that I am 99.9% sure that corporate is going to extend the silver rank up promotion next month. So when I got those numbers and went, I don't know, that kind of blew me away. I really didn't realize. And I had Jake actually send me names, and I can do that. If you guys want a list of people in your organization that are not either or falling short of 100 PV or are wholesalers that have not brought anyone on, talk to them about silver. This could be an opportunity, Keely, where you don't have to have a huge incentive, but if your levels 1 and 2 went in with you, you could do a $15 incentive for if they reach 100, if they reach 100 PV and bring and share with a friend and use it, as a referral program, if you will refer this, but really it's going to go under you and it's going to actually build your business. And then you need one more and you're going to get, $250 bonus. And then you're going to get the $50 bonus. So if you guys can really, really try to wrap your head around getting as many people to silver as you can on your team, I don't care what level they are, it will change the dynamics of your business, of your team. They will get a paycheck, it will change their mindset, and a handful of them will say, that was doable and I want to keep doing this. The other thing about that is with wholesalers especially, these products aren't cheap. I do tend to go big with the opportunity, but we didn't have that line item in our Dave Ramsey budget for Plexus, even though the need was massive, but the bank account wasn't. So where was I going with that? Shoot, hold on, I lost my train of thought, but it was important.
Products to get your paid for, you're like, what, you go big with
Thank you. So it is a lot, but you know what? Life happens. Your kids get sick, your air conditioner goes out, your car freaking breaks again. Life happens. And then, it's Christmas again, as if we didn't know that was going to come every December. But we aren't always financially prepared for these things. And unfortunately, what are the things that go? the extras. I don't look at Plexus as an extra, but there are going to be people out there that go, this is the first thing to go, or, this is a big expense. Getting there, my absolute goal for everybody on my team is to make sure that their products are paid for. Because if you gave everybody Plexus for free, they would take it every month. They would be there might be a small percent of people that just don't. But if you really think about that, if you could give this to people and it didn't affect their financial bottom line every month, they would take it longer. So that's, to me, it's like absolute step one. Make sure that their products are covered. So when life happens, Plexus isn't an excuse. Plexus will help them get through that month. So that's something I think is really important, because you can really go back and see numbers, and it will change your business. Just that 2 or 3 people go in silver and getting your wholesalers, to bring people on, to refer, and to get them to silver. It will change the momentum of your business.
Absolutely. Thank you. Great question, Keely. Okay, Stephanie, Seema.
Hi, thanks so much for pouring in. I totally appreciate that. I'm so excited that you are on. My question might be a little bit different, I don't know, but I've been very much into this business side of it, and I'm wondering what the DMO will be like as a diamond. Will it be very much different than, I'm a gold ambassador now with a team under me, but so will it be different as you go up in the ranks as far as what you do on a daily basis than what was happening in the lower ranks?
Night and day difference. Of course, you always want to be recruiting, and you always want to be talking to people and adding customers. So that piece is going to be a consistent part of your business. My DMO is so different than I was at gold. Really, gold through honestly getting up to diamond, then or to wherever it is that you want to be, wherever you're truly comfortable and feel like that you have a cushion and you're good. But I have so much more freedom in my day-to-day now, and it's wonderful. And I'm not very good at allowing myself to do that, but what was the point of sacrificing all of this time and really putting my family through a lot to get to this point? If you can't, my husband stayed home for 2 years, y'all. It was the best gift ever. But I will say it's a lot more about strategy. It's definitely people management, relationship management. Sometimes it's handling conflict resolution, which is not my favorite thing, but when you see people work past those issues, it's really rewarding. And it's more about being in a supportive role to the people on your team that haven't made it to where they're trying to go. And to me, that is so much more fun, watching my team members that I love, helping them and pouring into them and their people and their networks. That's so much easier than bugging my people, So, which, I still need to be doing and still do and still talk and add, but it's night and day from, as far as being in the thick of it. What I tell anyone that's at gold and above is, if you can get to gold, you can get to diamond. But the sacrifice, there's going to be a major sacrifice. You can do it the long, painful, slow way, or you can rip the Band-Aid off and laser focus and make it your mission and really push yourself harder than you think you can. Because when you do, that's really when the momentum happens. And when you get the momentum and you get people duplicating, that is the only way to get to the jewel level. You can get to senior ruby pretty much on your own in a very hard, exhausting way. But if you are building people to silver and they're duplicating, you can sacrifice in a shorter amount of time, recruiting the right people instead of a lot of people. And I really think that that sacrifice is so worth the long-term years of freedom that you get down the road. So yes, it gets so much better and it's so much different. And each part of it, you learn more about yourself, you learn more about people, you learn more about the business. I absolutely love where I am right now and today, because it's about empowering and building belief into people, not answering every single question about, can I breastfeed and take this product? That's where I was so I definitely enjoy this part of it more now.
We say on my team, #worth it, right guys? All the time, because they saw the sacrifice and they kept, we talk about this a lot because there was a lot of sacrifice when we went Emerald, and like we did it and we've maintained being an Emerald team, and it's absolutely been worth it. And it's been so awesome to watch everybody like step up to the plate in that and make their own sacrifices, but be proud of their own sacrifices. Like be happy where they are and still wanting more. Like that's where we're at. And I know that that's why we have such a huge presence here tonight, not just our team, but Nicole's team too, because we have a lot of people who still have big goals and big dreams with this. And
love it.
I know we had, is Ashley Moline on, you guys? We have a couple pages here of people. Ashley, if you're on, unmute. I just can't see you. And there's just some phone numbers on here.
Y'all gonna rip that Band-Aid off? Yeah?
I know I got some people that are ripping some Band-Aids, that's for sure.
It's not always pretty that way, but you get results. It'll get the job done for sure.
Okay, here's another question. Ashley's not on. She is single mom in it tonight. So how do you keep your motivation through the low times? She finds when she's getting all the no's, no one seems interested, it's hard to stay motivated.
Sure. I think that's a reality that we've all probably at this point felt if you're on this call tonight. It's interesting because, and I would love to like see nods, yes or no. Do you guys feel like that it comes in waves? Because to me, it's like when you get one, all of a sudden you've got three. You're like, I have been waiting just to have like one person, and then all of a sudden it seems like it kind of all seems to happen. Or there are those slower times. In those slower times, that's where you really want to work on your personal development mindset. I'm not a big reader, because of the time of it, but books on tape have been wonderful while you're on the go, and really building my belief and building my team's belief. And it's okay to say, okay, y'all, we're going to take a mental health day because nothing good is coming out of this day. We're going to start back tomorrow. That is totally okay. I've had to do that. I've definitely had those moments. But, I think that's where the fun part comes back into is that's when, okay, if really nothing's going on right this minute, obviously you want to ignite a fire because people will come from miles to watch a fire burn, So I think it's super important to ignite the team again. But I also think that in those times, it's okay to have the balance of spending time with your family, folding the laundry, paying the bills, so that when it's go time, you're refreshed, you've got the energy to do it. That being said, the way that you talk to people will hugely change the experience of your team. People talk about closing. They ask me all the time, how do you close a customer? How do you talk to a customer? And I always talk to them as if they are a future team member and they are already a customer. I speak to them as, these products are going to change your life. I'm so excited that you're getting started. I already talk as if it's happened, even if they haven't made up their mind. But if they're reaching out to you, they really have already made up their mind. So keep the ball in your court. I'm going to stop. There was one other question that was a two-part question that I didn't get to answer the second part to, which was having leaders that are self-starters versus people that need to be poured into. That is where your personality, your color personalities come in. Do all of y'all know what color personality you are? Yes, no, ish. Okay. I think that has been a huge, that's been a huge tool for us. It really helped me to understand my weaknesses and be okay with them and say, okay, organization, I need you. You are fabulous at, speaking. Let's get you on, and empowering people that don't feel empowered, grabbing them. And even if it's having them ask a question on a team call versus just sit there with their arms crossed, giving people a role in any way will make them feel like you're trusting them enough to get them involved. And I just think that's huge. I've tried to do that from the beginning, and it's made the biggest difference. Someone said, just getting to share my testimony or just being the person that was running the chat. Thank you for giving me a role. I felt like I was a part of the team tonight. So so of my 3, 2 are total self-starters, and 1 is a absolute, I need to do this every step of the way with you. I need to hear every day that I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and people like me. And I mean that in love of she needs to be encouraged. Her tank needs to be filled up. She needs somebody to walk with her in the journey. And that is kind of the beauty of having different personalities. I do find that the self-starters tend to have more success because they're running. They're not as worried about the details. My upline was teaching, and none of us knew what we were doing. It forced me to have to figure things out. I don't think I'm necessarily a self-starter. I definitely am I'm a blue, so I'm all about having fun, wanting to be a part of the party. But I had to figure it out for myself. And you know what? Doing that helped me to not need as much. But it's okay to need somebody, and it's okay. I mean, I just have found that everybody needs something different, and it's kind of your job to figure out the needs of each of your level 1s or your power partners. Or I was telling Tracy today, Tracy's a level 7, but I look at it like, I don't look at it as levels. Y'all are all people. And I used to have a page called Coal Miners, which is digging for diamonds. Honestly, there are level 1s and 2s that I rarely talk to, but there's level 5s and 6s that I do events for. I know that's a little bit backwards than what corporate says, but I'm not looking at it as I need those points and only my levels 1 through 3. I look at it like I would much rather find people that want this, that are invested, that are excited, because those are going to be the people that you end up doing this with. So if you know of somebody that's maybe a level 3 that is kind of flailing right now and needs somebody to kind of grab their hand, I highly suggest grabbing their hand and being there for them, not thinking of it like, well, they're my level 3. You know what? They're a person, and if you see potential and if you see that they want this, those people are going to be the ones that end up getting you and getting them and getting everyone to where they want to be. So self-starters are great, but it takes all types of people.
Yes, very good. Okay, we have one last question. It's from Faith, and her little boy's 6. She is not able to be on.
Okay.
It says, how do you work to retain wholesalers and keep them consistent in a time where most people seem to fizzle out after a few months?
Okay, I can answer. We've already talked about it. If your wholesalers have their products paid for, they will be consistent. The reason why people fizzle out is because life happens and they're like, I can't pay for it this month and I'm not getting paid, you know. But I mean, that to me is like Plexus 101. Get your products paid for, get them to silver, you know, find 3, get their products paid for, get them to silver, and have them do the same. That's it. If you can do that and make it fun, I mean, that is like the Bible of that's duplication, that's retention, and that's recruiting. So that's hitting like all of it in one small area. And that makes it sound easy. I know it's harder to do, but really and truly, if people's products are paid for, they're going to stay. And if you can get them to silver and build some belief in them, I mean, I wrote about today that one of the diamonds reached out to me and said, do you know, and I was trying to get her on because I knew her from college. And I was like, and her sister was on board. And I'm like, you've got to do this with us. One of those where I'm not afraid to grab people that I love and say, you need to do this with me because you would be so much better than I am. And you need to come in here and help teach us what you know. And I mean, we need you, you know, and help make them feel like they're really valued and a part of things. But one of the girls that I talked to, she got a check for $23 and called me and said, I got a check for $23 and I didn't really even do anything. I mean, I just got my mom to buy some products and I bought stuff for our family. I got a check for $23 and I really didn't do anything. And these are products that we were going to buy anyway. She said that getting that check is what made the light bulb go off of, I'm doing this. So you really don't, I mean, you never know. It doesn't have to be a huge amount of income. Sometimes people just need to get it in their hands and see that, hey, this is doable.
Yep. I listened to the 4 Pillars call that they did on the Plexus community page. And one of the things that Megan Goff said, and Justin says it too, is that, you know, we're in the business of duplicating silvers. We're not in the business of trying to duplicate a diamond. Like, that's all we need to do to build our business is to build silvers. And it's something that, like, I think myself included kind of got away from when I'm like, you know, you get in that like recruitment mode and roll. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, that was good, but now we got to do train, you know, and really get them into the loop of going silver. And we just got to make sure we continue to focus on that as a team. You hit the nail on the head with that one. So awesome. Well, we have kept you for a whole hour, Mel. I'm sorry.
Oh, has it been an hour?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. No,
we love it. We appreciate you pouring into us and just
I'll just keep going. You know, I honestly really love doing this. I do. Yep. It's my favorite part. This to me is fun because this is where the real relationships happen. This is where the change happens. And I love you guys. And I'm so excited. Thank you guys for, you know, giving up a night, sacrificing to come and spend time to listen to somebody you think might know what they're doing. But I'm putting my underwear on one leg, one hole at a time, just like you. So you know, I love doing this. And I love your team. I love all of y'all. And please know that this can go beyond one phone call. I'm not great about Messenger, but I'm learning. I'm doing better every day. But if y'all ever need anything, please, you know, have Tracy grab me or reach out because I want our relationship to go beyond this.
Awesome.
And if you come to convention, find me and be like, I was on the call with Tracy so I can hug you.
We will find you together. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much. Thanks, Mel. Everybody have a great night.
All right. Bye, guys.